DNVR Bets Daily here on a Monday edition of the show. And great to be with you. We're a little late today, of course, because we joined our friends over at DNVR Rockies for a little bit of baseball season preview. Yes, baseball is back this week. And, man, you know, maybe we shouldn't bury all of the bets that we covered during that podcast, but we're going to have to talk a little bit today about some of the gems we uncovered during our talk with those guys over on the DNVR Rockies podcast. So that's going to come out tomorrow. Make sure you catch that podcast. You can subscribe anywhere you listen to podcasts, DNVR Rockies podcast. You know, it is the only sports we're going to have here for the next week in America, unless you're counting, you know, soccer and other things. But major sports in America. We're starting off with baseball. Maybe a good time for if you weren't a Rockies fan to get in, and you'll love what Patrick and Drew are doing over there. Quirky dudes, but quite lovable in their own right. So check out our podcast with those guys. We'll talk a little bit about some of the bets that we uncovered there without burying everything. But first, R.I.P. to Jim Furyk. He gave, you know what? He gave me hope. 7th place going into Saturday. And all I'm thinking here is just get into the top 5. And I'll have a buyout ready. And I wasn't confident with the way he was playing. He was missing way more fairways than I expected him to. I'm just like, just get me into buyout range so I can hit it and get the hell out of here. And he went very the opposite way. I think he finished the last 2 days like 11 over or something combined. Something really rough. So
to make the cut was a great bet, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of bets to make the cut, that's the win of the weekend. We all hammered Tiger to make the cut, and I think the limit on that was like $50. So I know there was a lot of skin in the game on that one, and all day the cut's there sitting at 2, and he finally sinks. I think we actually talked about that a little bit on Friday.
Yeah, we did.
But that was my win of the weekend right there. We got lucky. And Tiger made the cut because some guys sucked towards the end. And wow, what a weird tournament. Tony looks like he's in full control on Saturday. Wheels fall off. My guy. Really sad to watch. He really gets worse on Sunday for him. And as everyone's like falling off, Jon Rahm climbing steadily. Now, he gave a bunch back at the end of the round.
Yes.
But you can do that when you've built up a lead as big as he had. I think he was up 8 strokes at one point on Sunday. And wow, just barely held it together.
This is crazy because I stopped paying attention once Jon Rahm was like 12 under and the next best was like 4 under or something. And I went to bed thinking the 4 or more strokes was an easy winner. It turns out Jon Rahm fell off just enough. And Ryan Palmer rose up just enough to where the margin of victory was just 3 strokes in the end. I wonder how many people were devastated by that on Sunday.
You want to know why they're devastated? Did you see what happened after the round?
I turned off. The tournament was over in my eyes.
Andre, if you had the 4 or more, this is one of the bad beats of all time.
No.
So Jon Rahm is going to win the tournament by exactly 4 strokes, I believe.
Right.
Or he ended up winning by 3?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's going to win the tournament by 5 strokes. But
that makes sense.
After the round, did you see his incredible chip in?
No.
So he chips in for a birdie on, I believe, the 15th or 16th hole. Insane fist pump. He's going crazy. It's like a replay of some of Tiger's greatest shots at Memorial. Incredible shot. After the round, we find out that he touched the ball a little bit with his club before he swung, and so it was a 2-stroke penalty.
No.
So his score comes down too. So he goes from winning by 5 to winning by 3.
So that's why I thought it was done and dusted, because the final score did look like it was done and dusted, but they've since. Oh man! And Sunday was brutal. I was talking to you Sunday morning trying to figure out, was it worth sprinkling Tony Finau to win it all or anything? And you said, the weather's not great. It's going to be really an uphill battle. I'm glad I took your advice because those Sunday scores are absolutely horrendous. Everyone over par, like in the mid 70s.
Yeah. Yeah, Memorial's known for kind of having a really tough Sunday, and then it got windy out there,
man.
and there was no chance someone was going to go low. The only way was Rom blowing up, and man, credit to him. He locks up number one in the world with that win. The first Spaniard to be number one in the world since Sevi, and that's pretty cool. Pretty cool honor for him. I'm surprised Sergio never got up there, but
Me too.
John Rahm, man, I've been underrating him for a while, and it's time for me to pay attention.
Yeah, he's been one of my guys I've been betting against, kind of like JT, and definitely came back with a vengeance this weekend.
I don't like hotheads on the course, and he can be one. So, but hey, number one in the world. He's undeniable right now.
Yep.
Our guy Spencer Smith here, we got to give credit to him. He actually ended up going 1-2 on his bets, but he texted me before Saturday and said, "Hey, I'm getting in on Rahm," and that was when Rahm was not in the lead. So he got some good value there. So hat tip to our guy Spencer. He got Rahm. So in the end, pretty impressive performance from him.
Hurts less than Tony didn't win this, right? Tony Finau, your guy, had he won this, man, that Jim Furyk pick would have burned a little, especially since I had a feeling you'd already predicted the winner. It just wasn't who you were predicting in that outing. So Big Tone winning would have really hurt. But John Rahm kind of saves it all today.
I texted you on like mid-Saturday when he was leading, and I was like, dude, if we would have just known about this 59, like that's all I need, because I already love Tony. If I would have heard about the 59, I would have bet him. But he doesn't even end up in the top 10, I don't think. Or maybe 7th he finished?
Eighth.
Yeah.
Eighth.
Okay. Oof. Rough.
But I mean, he lost himself $1 million on Sunday, essentially. Or $750,000. Like the winnings he ended up with at 8th that he would have had in 2nd are significant.
Yeah, unfortunate, but he'll have plenty of chances to get it back.
Yeah, no doubt.
Anything else interesting from this weekend for you?
Yeah, full slate. Saturday was Value City. You mentioned it. Arsenal had a good run of form, and they go into that FA Cup semifinal coming in at plus 800. Even if you got in like the second kickoff started, it went to like plus 615. It might have gone down a little bit. Still, you got insane value by merely sprinkling Arsenal, who ended up winning 2-0. I like the over 2.5 goals. That didn't end up hitting. My kind of upset of the weekend, finally a soccer tie comes to fruition for me. I said Atalanta's amazing run of form, best team in Europe, would come to an end. My guys from Verona, they won early for me, then they disappointed a lot. They got the tie plus 420 on that one. Easy number to remember. My guys at Milan got them just under the minus 200 threshold. They absolutely abused Bologna and also went over the 2.5 goals. They went over the 3.5. It was a 5-1 game. So Saturday was nothing but wins. Sunday was devastating with UFC. Tottenham started off so well for me that I was already, and that was like the one parlay soccer game I had where I didn't feel necessarily super confident. They go up 2-0 on Leicester within the first 20 minutes. So I was already counting my money. I'm texting you, oh yeah, soccer bets have gone well today, so I'm ready to do this and that and the other for UFC. And everything else just went horrendously. And then, the round robin parlay. It's nice when the final fight is going to determine, do you go 2-3 and barely win anything, or do you go 3-2 and reach profitability? Unfortunately for us, Figueiredo made quick work of Benvenides there.
Benvenides looked like he had no business being in that ring.
And in the rematch, he was the favorite going in.
Right. He got knocked down, I think, like 5 times in under a minute.
3 times, rear naked choke attempts 3 times, gets it at the buzzer on the very last attempt. And I mean, Benvenides out cold. The ref doesn't quite realize it at first. So.
Full respect to Benvenides because he didn't tap out. I always say, tapping out, what are they doing? Just pass out. It's fine. And he did it.
Yes, and our reluctance to take buyouts is actually, I mean, we live that you're not just saying that. We ideally we avoid tap outs at all costs here
We
too.
never
So
tap out.
that's right. He's our kind of guy. It was a fun card. Even the decisions though didn't go our way, and it was like every pick. So I had decisions and underdogs, and all the favorites won by finishes. So it was like doubly painful every loss.
UFC has had us by the throat here for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I tell you what, this weekend we're giving our guy Blades a call. He's coming to give us some help. He's had plenty of recovery time since his card. In fact, I think the last card we did well in the UFC was Blades' card.
No, because we hit that one round robin parlay that one time.
Oh, yeah, that was so fun. Man, it's fun when you win the round robin parlays. Not so fun when you lose them. So yeah, you know, it was just tough for our dogs. They just didn't have it all the way, even though the odds were close. Those favorites really showed why they were favorites in a lot of those. And It always, you know, you always get a little false hope when your first dog lands, because that was a great fight. It goes to a decision, and our guy wins. I was very confident. You were a little more worried that the decision wouldn't go our way, but it ends up hitting.
I never trust any decision, no matter what. Like a guy could land 0 strikes in a fight, and I would still think that he might win the fight on decision.
Yeah, you're never confident.
No, never.
It's true.
So it was an interesting weekend. I think I ended up on the minus side, but not too bad. So you know, you just tread water and survive.
I saved everything today. Today was a 10xer for me though, because Wolves. I put Wolves in a parlay. I put Juventus to beat Lazio in a parlay. I had Porto, who's the biggest team in Portugal. They were like a quick favorite, but you know, parlays, if you have an easy like minus 300 favorite, you always sprinkle them in to get a little extra. And I'm forgetting. Well, I'll go look. But I had another big soccer win today. So I'm a happy camper, I must say. That kind of salvaged the entire weekend.
There you go. Go hit those Rockies props that we talked about. And we'll get to those here in a second. But first, a shout out to DraftKings Sportsbook. Head over and download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the code DNVR when you sign up. For a limited time, you can get a sign-up bonus up to $1,000. Don't forget to enter the code DNVR and get that sign-up bonus up to $1,000. And guys, sports are coming back, like real recognizable major sports are coming back. Starts this week with baseball, then the next week it's hockey and basketball. I mean, we're gonna have a hell of a slate here soon. So if you've been waiting to get on DraftKings, now is the time to do it. And again, use the code DNVR, get a sign-up bonus up to $1,000. Of course, you must be 21 or older. Colorado only. The bonus is comprised of a first deposit bonus and a first bet match, each up to $500. Deposit bonus requires a 25x playthrough, and restrictions do apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-522-4700. All right, Dre, give me one bet that you really loved from our discussion with Drew and Patrick on the DNVR Rockies podcast.
You know, honestly, Patrick Lyons is like a betting trigger to me. Like he just brings so many of these massive odds that, you know, I'm going to have a hard time not putting $1 here, $1 there to win 100 on all the plus 100 bets he had. But no, I guess to the bet that I feel best about, leaving those alone just for the time being, is I mean, yeah, it's these it's the San Diego Padres going under 30.5 wins.
Yeah, you love that. You've been talking about that.
Yes. Yeah. I don't understand why they're so overrated. Drew's gone through their entire starting lineup, and it's terrible. It's awful. It's like borderline not major league worthy pitchers.
Wow.
This division's going to be better than I think people think it's going to be. And yeah, they're just like, they're overrated because they have some like fun, entertaining names on offense. But we're Rockies fans. We know if that's all it took to go over 500 every year, we'd be, you know, we'd have a lot more pennants at Coors Field, and we do not. So yeah.
That's very true. So we've gone over the Rockies win total before, and I love over 26.5. I hit it hard, and we uncovered another one today that I am going to hit hard. It's Nolan Arenado over 14.5 home runs.
Oh,
I'm so convinced that this is going over. I mean, I don't even. I would have liked this before I found this out, but the Rockies had 5 little scrimmages, and Nolan Arenado hit 7 home runs in those 5 scrimmages. Look,
Insane.
He's not going to be facing that caliber of pitching. Obviously they're split squad, so the other side has only half of a bullpen. They're not going to have all. But if Nolan Arenado hits 3 home runs in a 5-game stretch, he's crushing the pace here. So I think he's going to have a stretch of 20 games where he hits 10 home runs, and then the rest of this is going to be easy.
Yeah. I mean, at even money, fam. Yeah. Like, this is so easy, super durable. Like, he's going to be ultra motivated. I mean, he's one of these guys who cannot wait to get back on the diamond and just crank home runs. Yeah, I'm with you 100%. And if you guys need to find that, that's under MLB Baseball. You scroll all the way to the right, player totals, and you're going to have specific lines for certain players on home runs, RBIs, hits, and runs.
Yeah, and you can go through all of those. I really like the Rockies in a lot of these, but I like the over on home runs in just about everything. Because what I think is happening is they are looking at this from a 162 game perspective.
Yeah, right.
And they're prorating it down to 60 games and saying, okay, we thought this guy was going to hit this many home runs. We're going to go down to this. Yes. I don't think that's a one-to-one comparison, because for a guy to hit, let's say, 40 home runs in a season, he's got to have a long period of sustained excellence in terms of hitting long balls.
That's right.
This year, a guy like Mookie Betts, I think, is at an 11.5. It doesn't change that Mookie Betts can hit, have 5 home runs in a weekend.
Yeah, that's right.
Like those things happen, and I know I'm mentioning these like they happen all the time. They kind of do.
Yes.
Like, you always hear about some guy getting hot, and it happens over the course of a season for everyone. I realize this is a shortened season. It's not going to happen for everyone. But guys like Nolan Arenado, Mike Trout also said at 14.5. Cody Bellinger also said at 14.5. I promise you, these guys are going to go on tears where they take away half of this bet in a short period of time, and then you just have to have them not go ice cold the rest of the season. So I like over on home runs across the board.
Yeah, of course, what the book is gambling on is some injuries, right? And that's where, a weak injury that just took away a quarter of your season, or, not a weak injury, but, you have a little nagging injury that keeps you out for 2 weeks. That really is like a quarter of the season. I guess more like an eighth of the season, but you guys get the point. That's where the book is here. But yeah, I'm kind of with you. There are some of these that really seem appealing. Mike Trout moved to 15.5. Over at plus 100 though, I'll thank you for giving me that value. I'll happily take that. Giancarlo Stanton and Pete Alonso, the highest at 16.5. Even then, you're probably paying for, you're paying for a little bit at that New York market name tag price, but 16.5, even that seems reasonable. I know you're high on even the 20 homers over lines that they have in here, which
Pete Alonso can have a 3 home run game and have a fifth of his total taken care of in one night.
That's right. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen too. I mean, and I know you're predicting maybe a little more of an offensively inclined season, which I could see. And we need to remember rosters are being cut down. So there's a lot of figuring out your rotation, figuring out your bullpen early on, where we might see a bit more jacked up offensive numbers. You also need to, we forget, but last year, a bunch of controversial on juiced balls. How's the league going to react to that? But yeah, I think like we've seen in these other leagues, we're going to see some unpredictable stuff go on and kind of on all ends of the spectrum. So it might not be that offense is a little heavy, but I just think we're going to see both ends of lots of kind of wild stuff happening.
I totally agree. So we've talked a ton about this on the DNVR Rockies podcast, a whole hour of talk on baseball betting. So if you're interested in that at all, make sure you check out the podcast dropping tomorrow. It should be a really fun one for you guys to listen to. We had a pretty good time with it, and it's always fun talking to those guys. They know a lot about baseball, and it got me really excited about baseball season. I'm chomping at the bit for Friday at the DNVR bar watching the Rockies play baseball. It almost seems surreal that could happen this week. I'm not speaking in absolutes when it comes to sports anymore, but it could happen this week. It's expected to happen that there's going to be a baseball game on Friday. We're going to watch it at the DNVR bar. That blows my mind. It legitimately feels unreal to me.
Crazy.
Okay, what else on the slate tonight heading into tomorrow? Anything you like? I know there's a couple Premier League games out there and some other stuff around.
I was so excited about baseball, I forgot to do picks for tomorrow. You can get City and Arsenal. Arsenal playing at Aston Villa, City at Watford. So not crazy. You can parlay those odds boosted at plus 215 for both those teams to win. That's a pretty nice little free money there. Getting Arsenal at plus 110, I get they haven't been the most reliable team. Something's happening, though, with this new coach. Something's happening. These youngsters up front are doing better things. Those veteran defenders that get criticized to no end had amazing games against City. This is a team that's playing a little, there's something about, we were talking on the Rockies pod, these shortened seasons, some teams are kind of quitting early. I see that a lot in the Italian league where I'm more dialed in. But then those teams that quit, sometimes it almost refreshes them and allows them to play looser. I almost feel like Arsenal's in that sweet spot now, where they didn't quite quit, but it was like, oh God, here we go again. I'm so done with this season. And now it's like, okay, we're fine. We're just playing loose. This season barely even matters. And they're actually doing some good things. Man, we didn't mention the Rapids, but what an insane game that was and how devastating was that. To tie it up down to 9 men and then at the death get scored on to have your season end. And all the while I have people in our mentions like, oh, start covering DNVR Rapids again. It's like the season just ended 2 seconds ago. Oh, God, that's team's aggravating.
I mean, I didn't see the game for obvious reasons.
Good for you.
And I'm reading about the players are claiming it was rigged, and there was a ridiculous sending off. Can you give me some insight into this?
Yeah, I mean, 2 different wild cards. The second wild card was very unclear.
You mean red cards?
Red card, right, right. Too many sports at once. I'm blanking on what happened exactly, but it was a mess, man. But then to be down 2 guys and score the tying goal down 2-1 to really save your season, and they were still kind of creating chances. It was wild. Man, I don't even know. And they're they don't want to complain about the refs. They're making jokes. I'm going to get fined for this. No, complain. Who cares about your fine? The season's over. It's done.
Yeah, but they barely make any money.
Yeah, fair enough.
Other sports need players being removed from the field. Imagine if a player got a red card in football and the offense just got to go 11 on 10 for the rest of the game.
I know no other sport really does it. Yeah,
except hockey. Hockey, you get power plays, but
yeah, that's right.
And power plays are amazing.
In golf, instead of penalizing you a shot, I think they should just take a club from you. Now you don't have this club for the back 9. So if you can figure it out, cool, you're in it. But
what if that would be cool in a match play setting? Oh my God, this is a great game. We might have to
copyright it. Right. Hush it
so
out.
It's match play, but when you win the hole, you get to take a club from their bag.
Oh, that's beautiful. That.
You can take their putter or whatever. And then if they win the next hole, they have the option of taking their putter back or taking one of your clubs away.
Oh, beautiful. I bet we could find a betting equivalent of a game you and I could do during football season with our picks. That's similar to what you just described.
I like this. We just uncovered a gold mine. No, anyone who's listening, I'm going to be sending you a
cease and desist.
No, what is that called? A
copyright infringement?
I don't know. I'm stupid. Okay. I love that parlay that you mentioned. Man City, Arsenal. Now, let's just be honest about Arsenal. Don't be surprised if they lose. You're betting on Arsenal, you get what you sign up for.
That's right.
But it's plus 177 normally. They're going to boost it up to plus 215 for you. Mm-hmm. I'm very interested. 2 pretty heavy favorites. I mean, Aston Villa, Watford, not great sides. So you should win this. And you're in on both games, 2 different time slots there. The Man City game's at 11, Arsenal game's at 1:15. So, you'll have something to check on the whole day. I like that a lot.
Yeah, and you can get my guys AC Milan minus 107 to Sassuolo, who's a mid-tier team. Milan's been on an absolute tear lately between adding Ibrahimovic and this new coach kind of figuring things out. So that's another one to sprinkle in tomorrow. So that's 3 solid picks, 3 nice favorites who've been in good form.
Yeah, love it. All right, anything else?
No, there's like 3 MLS games, 1 in the early morning. I wouldn't mess with it, though.
Yeah, my feelings are well documented. Okay, that's going to wrap it up for us on DNVR Bets Daily. Don't forget, watch the DNVR Rockies podcast or tune in to the DNVR Rockies podcast. Either way, tomorrow, hear our full conversation about baseball betting. We're getting into 100-1 underdogs with great value. I give out a 20-1 that I actually really like. So all sorts of value on that show. Maybe stupid bets, maybe great values. It's, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But check that out and tell us what you think of those. And I'm sure you'll enjoy the guys over at DNVR Rockies. But for today on DNVR Bets Daily, that's going to do it for me and Professor Dre.